Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming for Season 49, 5 versus 5, Grand Arena Championship, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Week 1. I'm here with my co-hosts, Dagger TJ and Sasha Isha. Gentlemen, how y'all doing?
Just for
Doing
clarification,
well.
you're done with your wrap up, right?
Man, eat my ass. Yeah, by the way, guys, for those of you catching this video, this is moments after the ending of the third round here, the first week. We've got part of our crew here that's pressed for time, so we're gonna have to be a little about it, and that's why I'm immediately off the heels of this match and right into this. But yeah. Eat my ass, Dagger. How are you, TJ? How are you, Sasha?
Good, man. It's been a good week.
Doing well.
2-1, not bad.
Yeah. All right. Sasha, you there, buddy?
Yeah,
Also
yeah,
2 and
I'm
1.
here. Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing well.
All right, good stuff. All right, well, let's dig right into it. I also had a good week, 2-1. I mean, my first two rounds were against a couple of those Dodo Aurodium accounts that got bugged up to the top, so freebie buy rounds for me. That's nice. And then round 3 was Aesop, and you see right here on screen how that went. I at least full cleared, and you can't take that away from me, and that's the story. So, segment 1. What worked this week? Dagger, let's have it.
Please keep putting Bo on defense opponents. Please keep doing that. She sucks. Yeah. Bad Batch, Gidmay, Afra, CLS, all pretty much max ban.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, that's basically what worked. That was like interesting. Everything else was, Jabba versus Leia still, basically hit auto walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I'll have to go over the fight there. I'll show you the VOD because it was a different Leia comp, but it was my first time doing Jabba versus Leia, and I timed out on the lone Leia.
Hard target Leia to begin with. She's the first one you don't eat. She's the first one you actually kill. You eat the others.
Oh, okay. So that would have been a different method to pursue the fight for sure.
Yeah, use Lando to keep putting armor shreds on Leia.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can dig that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
I think if I had to do it all over again, we'd be okay. But all right, fair enough. Any other standout attacks?
To your point.
Yeah, go ahead.
To your point, it is like a 4.5 minute fight. To your point.
It was my very first time doing it, and if I'd had more time, perhaps a little bit better. But go ahead.
Yeah, other than that, I got the Starkiller Ray, which felt really good, and that's about all I had this week. That was fun.
Nice. Against Tough Kron as well? Like, did you get a break on the Kron or anything?
A little bit of a break. It was low defense, and it had a bunch of health steal. And by low defense, I mean like 80% defense.
Yeah, that isn't a ton to start with, for sure. All right.
Yeah, so...
Okay. Anything else you wanted to cite?
Nope, that's all I got for that part.
All right. TJ, what was successful attack-wise? Let's hear it.
I think you're figuring it out. You're just doing a bad comp of it. Bo on LV basically just makes that stuff no peace. It's I've looked at all the stuff out there, but Bo just destroys all facet of LV. It doesn't matter.
Is that using armor for you?
No, and I put the note up there for you. OG Bo, yeah. It is better banners. The unique is better, but you do want it to be turn order correct. I do want to preface that, so it's not just willy nilly Bo. But yeah, OG Bo fits almost like in every other fight minus Array. I'll leave it that way. Bo, turn order correct is great there. She's probably the 5th in 99% of your fights, if I had to guess.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Afra is a monster on anything that can kill it. So basically, your C's out there, Afra is coming for your bread and your butter.
Well, before you go too far into that, though, I wanted to ask one thing there about the Bo-Katan versus Lord Vader. You said turn order. Well, who is it? All the characters have to be in a certain order, or just Bo-Katan? OG Bo-Katan has to be relative to someone else?
I'm biased. But you don't want her being out there in front. You want her to get some kind of good damage. So what I've seen, I've got mine about 285 on the BAM, 280ish on the bow, and I have her in the 270 range. So anywhere from a 271 to it's like a 277 or something like that.
Well,
and that's perfect.
Does she need to be last? Like it's easy to have her be third.
No, last is passed. Paz is fine about a 260 to be in that limelight like spot, but no, you just want him like the 270 to 275, 280, whatever. Just being
So you
like
want
third
a
is fine.
third. You want a
Yeah,
third.
that's why I prefer it. Yes.
Okay, that's a good
And
note.
prop
All right.
modder.
What's that, Dagger?
I said and prop modder.
Prop mod her, yeah, as much as you can.
But she feels way better there, right? Because whatever is happening, you're already going through, you're already getting ready to do your birds. Her in that spot is like the perfect like chime in to just finish off everything, and then now you've got the team located out with the daisies as well. So, but yeah, it feels really good, and it's basically just bread and butter on anything you're going to put it against.
Okay, all right, dig that.
I'm punching up, so I'll be punching up. I'll say what didn't work, but I've got plans for
We'll
it.
come back
and
to
then,
that. But you were mentioning Afra, and I cut you off.
And then Afra, no, you're good. Afra is just taking the lunch money of like C's and other things right now. Obviously Java, but somebody tried to trick me out, put C in the back, and my Afra just 65'd it, like just nothing burgers.
Believe that.
Everything else is what we would expect. Some things I tried that didn't go. We'll discuss it later. Everything else was that it was like everybody. I know Dagger hasn't seen it, but everybody's trying the SLK thing right now, and just as long as you're keeping your JML, it pretty much just a walk in the park on that too. So
it does seem to be like like in the best case, maybe something like 60 banners is what you can charge your opponent.
I walked away with pretty good, but I have a good data.
I said the best case. Why you no listen?
I got like a 65, so best case.
I'm saying the best case for the person putting it on defense.
Oh, got it. All right. So but I will say, not doing that. I took a risk round 3, and I was keeping Riva for just a standard SOK, 65 banners. That was just bread and butter.
Yeah, we saw that was successful last season.
And it still is, right? As long as this Kron is here, if you're not putting a trick on there, Rivas is going to take the lunch money of SOK. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Sasha, how about you? What was successful? You had the legitimate matches, right? All 3 rounds.
Yeah, I did. It was a bumpy week. I ended up with really a lot of efficiency matches, and I was not in efficiency mode. So I ended up going 1 and 2, but I had really good matchups. I had Cyrus, Crotus, Tom Ford, really good players. So it was fun. They were really good matches. Things that worked, against some of the stuff we'll come to that didn't work. It's more sort of dysfunctional in an efficiency meta, but otherwise might have worked. But on the stuff that worked for me, a couple of things stand out. I held Seer Malicos, and I just historically I've always set that on D, some wide variety of different compositions of them, but I liked it on D. People have that so well figured out, and it has high potential on offense that I figured I'd move it over there. Highly reliable on Ray squads, again, some good Ray comps, but Seer Malicos just ate it up. And I know that's not exactly news in the endgame community, but it was nice and reliable for me. Another one that had made the transition a little while ago from defense to offense, but really because it just stuck on defense, is the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. I had a pretty well-tuned squad there with a really nice datacron, and it ate up everything that was in front of it. I was trying to be a little thoughtful about where I deploy it. In the first 2 rounds, I had opponents that set CLS squads that had Drogon with a Drogon Datacron, and that can be fairly intimidating. It's going to hit hard out of the gate. But the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon squad just ate those up comfortably for 65s. And I had a cleanup against a Leia squad where it was turn meter loaded. Leia's squad had lost Old Ben, but otherwise had all the rest of it there. Dark Trooper Moff Gideon ate it up. There was no other tank remaining, so I could focus fire on Leia. But with that 400% of defense converted to offense cron, with a solid comp, and so that's using, I did not use Dark Trooper, but I used all the rest of the Imperial remnants in it. And in probably 80 seconds, it ate through a Leia squad that had a rebel damage reduction and everything else. Of course, the damage reduction level 6 doesn't apply to Galactic Legends, so Leia is sort of out there on her own. And that squad was hitting her for 100k plus. per attack. And then it was just a matter of pick and choose which of the remaining sides was under 50% at any given point on turn meter. So that was fun. That was pretty cool. I did use new bow or bowman against LV a couple of times. Totally agree with TJ that OG bow is a natural fit, both for the increased protection against the dots, but the regenerative powers. Big believer in that. So those were the most noteworthy did work things for me.
Dig that. That was great. For my part, yeah, so like I said, those first couple matches were bye rounds, so I don't think there's really anything cool to speak on. I discovered, I realized maybe a few turns into the fight when I did Afra versus C that I didn't need to do a cooldown pull like I normally would if the Afracron did not exist. But it does exist, so indeed that would have worked, and indeed that was like a 45 for me on the second go. So again, yes, Afra is just running roughshod over C. And the Afra comp I used was BT1000, IPD, and IG88. Man, IG88 slapped the shit out of somebody with a basic. It was incredible. I couldn't believe how hard that was. Let's see. That's pretty regular. Against JMK, Cat, C3PO, Ahsoka, and GK, this very same comp I fought with Inquisitors last season, and I lost Seventh Sister. And I lost Seventh Sister because I opened up with Grand Inquisitor's third, and they were able to do specials and blah, 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 able to assist out onto Seventh Sister, and she died. So this time around, I decided to do Inquisitors again, because it seemed like the right thing to do given my situation, and I opened up with GI's middle, so we had ability block on everybody. Much better way to go. We controlled the fight very, very smoothly from then on out. 65 banners. Can't say enough good about that one.
Let me ask you this quick, Tess, since you're on the point of it. Last season, was there not speed up on basic that we were dealing with?
On
the
yes,
Jedi-Cron.
yes.
So don't discount it. And it's like I faced it too, and I didn't lose against, but I was thinking about it as you were saying it, and then as I caught part of it. The not having speed up on basic, I think, is going to go a pretty long way too.
Yeah, but the fact that I just chose to open with the ability block and JMK was not able to do third targeting Cat facing seventh and then seventh just like keeling over, that was crucial, and surely we would have prevented that whether or not that previous.
No, I'm saying, but not having the speed up on basic, you don't have to necessarily do the third now. You're not having to get into the torture to try to get in front. There's no more of a race, is what I was kind of referencing.
Yeah, but even if they had the speed up for basic, like whatever, GI's first. Like what's
no.
That's what I'm thinking about.
They would laugh at it if they had speed up on basic. Yeah.
That's not what. That's not what I was talking about.
Point.
You're not fighting the race against time because not everybody has more speed now. That's what I was referencing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I will note that for that counter, Aesop did not have a Scoundrel no revive set on there. That was a set 11. So if it had been different, maybe not so good. That means that maybe I would have had to apply, like, I don't know, Bo-Katan there? And maybe I would have had to do that and, like, lose pause? I don't know. Anyway, that worked out well. Yeah, we did Bo-Katan versus Lord Vader. I use armor. I actually did sit there and think about it. About Bo-Katan and thought it was probably good, but I'd spec'd out armor to be here in this team, and she was very fast, blah, 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 blah. It was nice. 61. You guys are saying 65 with OG Bo, so I take your point. I'll probably try that very next. Against the DR, Treya, Nihilus, Savage Talon. So this is not a comp I see too often. It is strongly discouraged to try Gidme against this. And that is its primary purpose, is to deny value to Gidme. I could have used Sith Eternal to mirror C in the back, but like I already told you, I did after there. So I went in with C instead, just overkilled it, lost a bunch of other characters. It got 55 banners, but it got done. Aside from that, yeah, like TJ said, JML, Grandmaster, JKR, Shak T, and Ayla. So that, not necessarily like the full nastiest crew of Jedi, was 60 banners. Now, I think I screwed up and caused myself to lose JKR. So I think it would have been better if I'd not done that. But my point here being is like JML, Grandmaster, and JKR is probably the core of what you need to get that job done. And the other two are pretty negotiable, I would say. Ideally, it would be like Hoda so that you could probably be really topped off banner-wise. But Hoda was pretty nice for me to have over in that, Jedi Cal versus Malgus fight. That's about it for me. My one legit match. So as far as segment 2 goes, what didn't work? All right, back over to you, Dagger. What you got? What'd you fail on?
Literally the only thing that went wrong is against gas fresh. I took in the wrong team because I was rushing.
Your voice is kind of far away.
Your voice is kind of far away. Yeah, you're going to have to do this. So the only mistake I really had was I took the wrong team and I was rushing.
Okay, well now you're not intelligible.
Well, I can't control that. Shit.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. I mean, as long as it's important to you that you're not understood, then just keep on.
He's saying he took the wrong team against the Gas Rex.
Yeah, I heard that part. I couldn't tell which one, but I got that impression.
Reva. I took in Reva.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
That's kind of my fault. Dagger was requesting a video, and I got to do it, but didn't get to do a video of it. And but I'll let it go back from there.
Boy, that's a good one.
No, it's all good. No, it's all good. That's the only mistake. I mean, everything else was really clean. That's kind of my goal this month is just to be clean.
Super duper. All right. TJ, how about it? What
let me go back on one. Let me go back on one good one that worked. I told it to Dagger, and just to make sure I don't forget it. Star Killer, you have to finesse the fight, but Star Killer really does strongly on this team when you're playing it. So
strongly on what team?
Gas Rex. So where Dagger is requesting a video to kind of check it out, but Star Killer still does fine. You just have to finesse the fight. You're really kind of playing with the tools. The one thing I did note is that Rex, so Captain Rex, is not aligned for that whole Gas is standing up. He can't die. I was able to actually kill Captain Rex on my third match while Gas was still up. So that was cool to note that he's not getting the benefits of the other 501st. So, all right. So what didn't work? I actually this week, honestly, man, I've been doing a whole bunch of good work. So here's what didn't work, but I will refine to make it work. We've talked about it with Dagger. We've talked about it with everybody else. I've really been on a hunt to try to place like Dark Trooper Moff Gideon and to see his like levels. That was what this week ended up becoming. Unfortunately and fortunately. So I've heard their Star Killer can be taken out by a Dark Trooper, and I think that was probably Dagger or one of the conversations we had. Me talking to Danis, the one we were talking about and I wanted to try, and I recorded it, Zori. Because the turn meter gain from that team, and especially if there's like you have the
but only if you go first and only if they don't have the null.
I think it even maybe not, but I got to play with it. I just want to know is like I wanted to test my limits. Yes, going first, the fight feels very good until it doesn't. Right, I'm still trying to play with the finesse with the stuff like that, and I'm sure there was a misplay by my part. But if you're going first, oh man, it feels great. You're basically in control of the team. And if they try to put the no revive on you, that means they don't have bulk. Your team is going to absolutely eat them up with the right cron. So it didn't work, but I really feel like it's there. And I think there's more to come. Don't put that shit on defense, man. It's getting killed by easy things like that, and it's got really great offensive applications. Dagger has said it. I agree with it. This is the offensive season right now. So these teams are designed, and I even heard Fatal talk about it. DTMG really has great application with the right setup and can kill a whole bunch of shit. So don't put it on. The other one is Bo. As Dagger said, I'm going to be the opposite. Don't put that shit on defense, man. It's dying by such stupid stuff, and it's push.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a crazy idea? Wouldn't it be crazy if you had to be convinced out of setting that on defense earlier this week?
It's new, right? It's new, so you deal with it. But it's like right now where I'm at, and you talked about Mando, armor. What I was working on and trying to get working, I'm still going to piece it together, is Bow on Ray, as is right now, not with the Cron coming out. I got close, but because you have to play the fight very quick, I was trying to talk through the pieces of how it moves. So I recorded where my fail is at, but I think this week is going to be the week of me doing Bow on Ray. It feels like it's there. But in that fight, though, to your point, Tass, you must have armor. You really have to have those 3 stacks to make this work.
Wow, that's the one fight I heard was kind of like dubious.
But it's there if you can play array fight. So the one thing that everybody says in
speak on
Dice
that.
is all
What's
the
the
time.
finesse to get that job done?
It's you have
you're
to play
already
the fight
this far
very
in.
fluid, and then it's getting the thirds on, and then it's depending on who's the team. So your kill orders, but they're just going to fade because Paz is there to protect you from all the like. I got whirlwinded. I don't know how many umpteen times. I watched Danis's fight, and he got whirlwinded like 3 times, and my whole team was still standing at the end. So it's there, but you have to play the fight quick, and you have to play the fight correctly. There's not a lot of room for error, but people will just die. So it's definitely doable, and that's I think my big focus this week.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a pretty good expose. Anything
else?
Yeah,
she's gonna push, man. Everything else would be what we expect, but the other things we're doing.
What other surprise fails, or what else did you have?
Oh, my story time with TJ. Yes, the thing that failed.
You know that we were supposed to be talking.
Yeah,
about footage,
I got to do. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's been such an awesome week. Like this is just dumb. What didn't work? So story time with TJ. So facing my buddy Yama. Yeah, he had a Seer team. So it was Seer the standard comp with Malikos and crew. I'm gonna preface this with an R7 ATF, 8,900 damage. Nothing crazy. Had a really good ATF cron with 125% crit damage. I took C with Set, Red, and Sass, all R9. They all have mods, goddammit. They all have mods. And I had an okay mod. It was like 20% health and some other things. I definitely didn't respect his cron. So I took it in. Opening fight, I linked Malikos and crew, because crew was taunting. ATF, his ATF is 304 speed. So, like just said, just mods on it. She went in, she ramped up for her 4 hits, or her 4 buffs. Very next move, she one-shot my C. I was 100% correct. Right.
You were
right.
For
yeah.
that one there.
Weakest link. Oh, 100%. So, dude is so bad I still laugh about it because I'd never seen it. And then I got told where the poopy is, and that's fine. But it's like I'd never seen my C get one shot from full health of protection. She went in, was done. I had to back out of the fight. That was my big.
So aside
holy
from her resisting the deceived debuff, what else could you have done differently there?
Nothing. No, there's nothing that could be done. The only thing that would have been done is what Dagger called out.
Hold on.
You link.
Poker is the only one who can ignore taunt.
Right.
So that's why you link her with C. So
Malikos can ignore it too, but it doesn't matter. Is Dagger's point was correct, right? You can't crit, right? So I should have linked I've never seen it. He's had him lose a set. I would be okay losing a set. I've never lost a GL. An R7 ATF deleted my R9 properly modded. Had mods, goddammit. C off rip. Dead. Never went protection, never went health. She said, poop, gone. So, link your ATF.
About mechanics, though, Dagger, if you wanted to correct on that. If Fulcrum has deceived on her turn, I thought it was that, if C's alive and he's got an ally that's alive and you have deceived, you can't target him.
She has to have deceived, though. She didn't have deceived.
I know. I'm not saying you did. I'm just asking a question about mechanics.
So they spawn with tenacity up.
I'm sorry?
They spawn with tenacity up. She's right.
With tenacity up.
Yeah,
so she won't be deceived.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. She just won't be deceived.
Yeah, she always won't be. All right.
But either way, it gives you the heads up that even with the proper modding and stuff like that, right now with that Cron's in play, just make sure you link her so she can't do that to your C. That's great.
And it's the last hurrah of set 11, so you'll have to only be mindful.
We all laughed and had a great time. It's like, because I would have, even no matter what, I had a bad match with Yama. So even if it wasn't bad, I would have still taken C against that. So it's not like I can say, oh, bad choices. Like, no, I would have still done this. So it was just, holy hell.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. Any other fails you wanted to highlight?
Other stuff, like just bad luck matches. Like I took, Rogue won on Dash. I took it and it didn't work because like hard targeted Adrad. He never took a turn type thing. It's nothing that we would call out as being like, well, why did you do that or stuff like that. Yeah, just bad luck.
All right. Sasha Isha, what abandoned you? What left you for dead?
Sure. So before I get into kind of specific, like more sort of tactical or just pure, like in the moment battles that fell apart, of which there were a few, but not a ton, because this was such an efficiency oriented week, and I know we've talked about sort of how the really robust defensive options feel like they're drying up. But what I'd call out that didn't work is kind of in that context. It's there were a couple of times where I brought gas to offense. Yeah, just generally because it's fairly vulnerable on defense these days. The problem with gas is when you end up in like a high efficiency match, it's really hard to have a gas squad that's not going to drop some banners for you. So like I would end up in situations where like there's not a fight. Particularly if an opponent has one shot or been really quite efficient, and you just see on Prime Bot 65s piling up, you're like, geez, I can't afford to use gas anywhere. So that was one thing that was like a bit of a lesson learned. And my hope is that it's not just going to be efficiency matches. It's like here to stay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Take my share of those too for sure. But like, I I'd like a little more variability, and it just limits some of your like squad selection, like the ability to keep certain things on offense if there's some inherent bleed with them. So that was one. It didn't work, and I sort of had gas left on the table. Then the other thing that I thought was interesting, and I fell prey to once is here as well, was Leia comps well set to frustrate Java counters. Because Java feels so comfortable against the vast majority of Leia comps. And what I call out is like really pretty shrewd use of Cassian. Like Cassian, I think it's his Zeta or whatever that gives all rebels tenacity up. And you do a Cassian, you throw in like a Chupio. I think there are a few different versions of these comps out there designed simply to give Leia a fighting shot or better against Java. And like I ran into that. And it's an issue. As I mentioned, I was able to clean it up with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, but just when Java had started to feel super comfortable, I was seeing some really, I thought, like creative approaches to try and like Java proof squads. So that was one that definitely, it definitely caused me some issues, and particularly in efficiency matches. As I look at other stuff that didn't work as well, yeah, I think those are the ones that really jump out. I think those are the two worth noting.
All right, fair enough.
I just want to comment real quick for Sasha. He said, "Fuck efficiency." He just did a TLDR of it.
Yeah.
So, as I said, many moons. Fuck efficiency. Sorry, I just want to put that out there.
Oh, that's all good.
Also, yeah, it's been a couple seasons now, but even I've told like Pastor TJ, I think Sasha as well. Like, I don't find good places for gas on offense, so I just like keep moving in back wall or top front on defense because he just, like you said, he's a lot more vulnerable now. But he also just isn't good on offense from an efficiency standpoint, and frequently I can't take a 58.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fair. All right. For my part, my fails. So Ray team. So it was Ray, Swallow, L3, Xeris, and Sortie. We had JMK, Cat, Ahsoka, Xeris, and GK. I didn't have a Scoundrel no revive. So the goal here was to smite Xeris and work the rest of the way through. That was pretty okay. We just ran out of time with L3 still around, which does happen with JMK sometimes. So that was part of it. It ended up being Swallow and Sortie both at the end of the fight, though, because he came back just before the end. Went back in with Geos, and wouldn't you fucking know it, the son of a bitch had his AoE up for the first turn. Like, so that means that it was specific that the blind was still on cooldown, because he would have used the blind if he had it, the bastard. It took out Sun Fac immediately, and just the 4 remaining Geos did clean them up. That was stupid, though.
And if only there was a way to know where his cooldowns were from paying attention.
I suppose. Yeah. I'll take those lessons. I'll appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Leia, Cassie, and Old Ben, Chupio, and Crex to what Sasha was just talking about. So it just so happened that that was the first Leia comp that I had ever encountered for my Jabba. My Jabba all of last season was on defense, so I'd never attempted Jabba versus Leia. This was the first time. We did get everyone but Leia down, and as Dagger mentioned here earlier, the trick here is to go after Leia out the gate. She's you're stacking armor shred on her, and you're eating someone else. If it's my guess, I would probably eat Chupio first. I feel like that dispels the most annoying shit. And then Crex after that. But anyway, we did get it down to just Leia. If there was more time, it would have been fine, but such as it was, we failed there. I saw some win rate for GG, B1, B2, Droideka, Magna to take that on. Just the solo Leia with the Leia Cron, the Leia level 9, yada yada. We just barely failed. She lived with just a sliver, and then I had to wrap that up with Mom Mothma. Now, I saw, so you're thinking about how did he employ his Drogon. So it was Saw, Baze, Drogon, Chirrut, and Kyle. And at this point in the fight, I kind of had, kind of had the feeling that, we're already on the back foot, so let's see what we can do. Went in with DTMG, Death, Gideon, Storm, and Scout. And yeah, obviously then pushing back your cooldowns off rip isn't great. Obviously we were able to revive the ones that got picked off and whatever, but we quickly ate up Baze and then managed to take out Drogon. That was about half of the fight's time right there. And then the rest of the fight, I was trying to go after Kyle, thinking he was probably the best target to go after in terms of being, squishy and impactful. Tried to go after him, got juked by his stealth once, thought we were going to close in on him again, and got shorted by the damage reduction level 6. So the bottom line is I ended up timing out. So you kill Baze, you kill Drogon. It's obvious you have to get through Baze, so you get him out of the way. You kill Drogon because he's super high priority. If I had to do it again, I would have just gone after Saw third. Clean that up with Tuskens, and wow, that was rough going. By the way, just the three of them gave the Tuskens some business. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I wouldn't do that twice. And against Finn, Resistance Hero Finn, Poe, Zori, and Rose, we did have Mother Talzin fail us. Now, I used Marin at a point in time where we didn't have Taun up on Zombie. So I thought that, man, if they open up on us here, it'd be really great to have Marin to pull one person back from the grave. But they ended up just zapping Zombie. So Zombie came back. Then Marin comes out of stealth. Then they hose Mother Talzin, then Daka, then Marin, and then I pulled out before we ended up preloading. And I ended up cleaning that up with Starkiller, so I could have done that in the first place. And then against Qui-Gon, JK, Cam, Kelleran, and Mace. I'd love to hear what you guys did to make short work of it, but at this point in the fight, again, I was kind of short on what I wanted to use here. We went in with a leftover Seer team, thinking that probably the best way to go about it was just to make sure that we cleared it at all. So I figured I was going to piece it down. Went in with Seer, Fulcrum, Second Sister, Kylo, and Scav. So real scrap grade Seer team. Killed Qui-Gon and JK expeditiously. And then, otherwise kind of petered out after that, and they took us out. Went back in with CLS and finished them off. But did you guys have any real successful go-tos against Qui-Gon and Kellerans this week?
Yeah. Bastila plus scraps. I mean, I say scraps, but I used Cal when I could use GMY because LOL, why not? And then GG Newt. Turns out that still works. Who knew?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so even with a turn meter gain and the prot restoration and everything from Kelleran, you still just overwhelm it with the sheer amount of
yeah, because it turns out you put down the heal immunity and then B2 takes the tenacity up away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And their tenacity up when they get it the first time allows you to ramp your potency super hard, so that way when you do B2 strip, you get to actually stick all your debuffs.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's
I still saw Bad Batch take it out.
No shit.
So Yeah.
Really?
Is there some finesse to be done with how you do that?
Heinze did it. What does that say? Sorry not to be a dick.
Wow. No. Whoa. Real?
On
For
video,
real?
go watch it. I said, don't do this. He had already did it and did it pretty clean. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh
Well,
yeah, I was in a
Good
fistful
cron.
earlier. Sorry about. I was in a fistful
Also
earlier.
say,
Sorry about that.
great cron though. He had a really solid cron. It wasn't a nothing cron, but yeah, I watched
when
that.
you
I
say
watched
a
him do
great
bad.
cron, what made it great? High defense, high what?
High defense, good stuff, man. He has a really good season of crons right now. So his stuff was really solid. But yeah, I watched him take it out.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, so that was my last little bit on what failed us here. Now let's move into segment 3, standout defense.
One quick one, Tass.
Sure. No,
before
please,
you move off of that, another suggestion to counter the Qui-Gon Jinn, Keller, and Beck is a Dash Vandor squad. And this is where I know most people won't have invested in their young Landos. I just happen to really like that character. Mm-hmm. But young Lando has the ability to put Vandor under stealth. And you just, even though there's a lot of offense coming out of those Qui-Gon squads, as long as you give them something else to hit and it's not Vandor and you have your Ami on Dash, then all of your light side scoundrels, they're dying, but they're popping right back up. And I was able to get, I think, a 65 and a 64 against 2 of those just using Dash. I think I had L3 out there, but
that's super premium to hear because Dash has been pretty lackluster on defense for some time. So to hear a high banner application
and
on
borderline
offense,
useless on offense, to a degree.
Yeah, you just have to have some means of protecting Vandor, just because that Qui-Gon squad can pack a hell of a punch, and that's what young Lando does surprisingly well.
Very good.
Yeah, that's fantastic, considering all these no revive crons running around, making Dash just kind of like, LOL, nope. Right? Like,
yeah.
That's true. That's very true. Okay, yeah. So let's move right into standout defenses. Dagger, what held the line for you?
TJ has a hard stop here. Let's let him go.
Oh, TJ. Well, bust out then, man. My man.
Everything would be the normal stuff, man. SOK did what it was supposed to do when it was supposed to do it. Rey was good when she was supposed to be good. Leia did surprisingly well all week, doing whatever they're doing, and it wasn't a standout comp. I had we were talking about it, and we kept fighting back and forth, or not fighting. We were going back and forth on what the 5th characters, right? I put Kanan, and I had holds. I'm not saying it were great holds. One just had old Ben. I think one was a Leia. It was still a 2-shot, so I got 2 shots all week with my Leia. I'll take them all day long. There was nothing wrong there. Other things, the Savage lead trio literally got me a win, and LV literally got me my win after our plot and scheme. LV held the fort for me.
You're welcome.
Yep. I called it where it was. Obviously, fuck Dagger, but he's got a good idea. You stick to the idea that worked, and all I did was move a position, and that's what got my win. So my round 2 would be held up specifically to LV.
Very nice. Can't wait to find out what it was that he burned out on LV then. Okay.
Not knowing Bo. Not knowing that Bo can do this.
Okay. Well, listen, it's a atypical. I know that you said you had a hard stop right about now, right?
Yeah.
Did you have any other quick comments you wanted to include to the people before you dip out?
Yeah, man, simple enough, dude. Just start watching everybody. I'm telling you, watch the content creators right now. There's a lot of good stuff going around, and everybody's trying this off-meta things. I'm going top to bottom. Arnold all the way down has done great videos of trying to do good things. Task doing it this round. Just make sure you're watching everybody because there's a lot of good information out there, and play with your bows if you got them, because I'm telling you, she can punch, and we don't know the ceiling.
Okay.
As always, they fail, so you don't have to.
That's the point. All right, boys. Good luck on it. Thanks,
Very
guys.
good. All right, appreciate you. Thank you. Take care, TJ.
Later, TJ.
Okay, so back to you then, Dagger. Standout defenses. Let's have it.
The biggest Hodor for me this week was Seer.
Excellent. Okay.
She prevented a full clear. And then, I guess technically you could say we talked about this one already, but my first round, you can make the argument that Leia prevented a full clear, but it really was, if my opponent dropped, he was just going to quit. And he did, because I put up a big enough score where there just wasn't a comeback once he had a drop. And it was to Leia.
The Seer team, anything special about that made it win? It was it Seer Malicos? Was it in a special position?
Yeah.
Was the positioning key?
Full nasty bottom full nasty, bottom back, 57%-ish prot, I think, maybe 53.
Nice.
Everyone's prot higher than their health. 150 or so percent defense, buffs on basic, fulcrum level 9. The good stuff.
Dig that. All right. I'm here for it.
And then Ray held, of course, because Ray's just a jerk. And especially if you do that skewer where you have like Ray up top and Slacker in the back. You don't even need to have Slacker Ufus. It's like, you're not start killing my Ray. Have fun, I guess.
All right. Fair enough. Sasha, how about it? Your standout defenses.
Oh, Zori. Zori also had to hold 2 of the 3 rounds. Multiple holds. So we can talk shit all we want. And we
No,
talk
that's
all we
you.
want. I know Tess
You
and
are
I
the
talked
only
about
one who
this.
talks shit about Zori. I don't talk shit about that girl. She does God's work.
No, you talk plenty of shit about Zori, so does TJ. Like, you guys can all just...
No, literally, I'm the
this-
one who's defending her from you guys most of the time.
No, you're not.
haven't
It's
heard
like, I mean,
me
like, you
talk
can say
shit
whatever
about-
you want on this TV show or on this podcast. We know that you agree with us that she's one of the last teams you set on the board. So, like, you can.
But she's always
try to
down.
paint this how-
That's true. That fact is true. But that
Yeah.
is not to be confused with me talking any kind of shit about her because I don't. Thank you very much.
And I continue to set her too as one of my last teams, but I put her in a position where it's the last team they fight, and we've kind of talked about that before too.
That's true. Yeah.
So
yeah.
her and
Yeah,
Qui-Gon
Sasha
continue to get
taught us
holds.
that
Qui-Gon
lesson.
didn't get any. Qui-Gon didn't get any holds this week, but was only fought twice.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he GL'd it once. One of my opponents just GL. But yeah. So Zori continues to hold because people continue to just be like, I'm going to Night Sister it. I'm going to dash it. I'm going to Moff Gideon it. And it's like, what if I told you it was a no revive crown? Oh, you didn't check? No, that's all.
All right. Sasha, what you got?
So not a lot held. I got fairly steamrolled, but where I had a bit of success, I tend to like to set Treya on D, and it had I think it got a couple of holds in one match, and it's a particular Treya comp. I really like adding Visas as a 5th with the Visas Datacron in there, and so like a Treya, Nihilist, Savage, Visas, and then I've set Scion historically, although I suspect Talon's a better 5th there. But that had some success, and I think mostly from people, I haven't seen the history yet, but mostly probably from people trying to save a GL, not have to overkill, and then getting punished by either Gidme failing or something like that.
Really quick.
Yeah.
I've had mine fall to OG Maul lead triumvirate.
Yes, I could see that.
Yeah, I've had mine fall
You get out ahead.
a couple of times to that. So just bear in mind when you are setting that,
Yep.
you are allowing your opponent to essentially mirror it. Not that it has many options. We're just saying, like, just food for thought. I've been a victim of that a few times.
That's a good one.
Yep. Yeah. There's a huge first mover advantage there if it's like a Treya versus Treya kind of thing.
Just isolate Savage off the rip, move on. Yeah.
Totally. I had the only other squad that I think had more than one hold this week was a Saw Gerrera squad, and a little like the Zori squads that we've fought and killed them I don't know, it feels like hundreds of times at this point. But the reality is if it runs late enough in a match and other options are eaten up, they can still be really dangerous. So that was one. I got one that had a hold using Drogon and the Drogon Kron in there, which is decent sized investment. But I had another that surprisingly was just like no Drogon, no Captain Rex. It was purely like Chirrut, Baze, Kara, Kyle Katarn with a good Saw Datacron and damage reduction, and that was one in one of my matches that it had it took them 11 battles to get it down, and so that it just I think at that point they were kind of just whittling their way through their roster, but yeah, it's got enough survivability, particularly with the damage reduction. Still had a shot. So those would be the ones we're sharing for me.
Incredible. Likewise, for me, not a lot of holds here versus Aesop, but we will cite that Ray, he had the 3-shot. So I expect that he had to Star Killer it. Took out L3 and Sortie only on the first go. So I had Ray, Swallow, and RJT to face, preloaded. Everybody was green health, by the way. It was a grim situation. Nonetheless, got Ray and Swallow out on the second go. RJT stood tall, and then he finished it off. And that was the only real hold. I will note that Dash Hondo was like a 60 banner, and Saw was like a 60 something. I'll have to check that real quick. What was it? No, he's 65 to Saw. So it was a 60 on the Savage lead. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it's nothing really to brag about, but there's not a lot for me to talk about on defense with only one real round. So that's fair. All right, guys, takeaways for next week. Dagger, go ahead. Open up for us. What are you taking to week 2? What'd you learn here?
Don't rely. All jokes aside, don't rely on TJ to give you that video.
Mm-hmm.
No, all jokes aside. I don't know if I'm taking anything away from this week. I know we talked in the in between video about how I'm just going to look into what my opponents are using their bow against. So I guess my takeaway would be I need to check into what people are using against bow and try to do something. Because, yeah, I mean, this week I faced so many more JMKs on defense because they can just do that now.
Yes.
So it being down bow just basically means my opponents get to set a free GL on me, which is very obnoxious.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Being down on that is a tough situation.
So I guess my takeaway would be trying to find a way to get Maul Mandos to maybe work versus JMK or Leia if they don't set the Hunt Chewie comp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't really have any takeaways. It's just trying to figure this shit out. You know, like that's my takeaway. Figure this shit out because it's going to keep happening for the next 2 to 4 months.
Fair enough. Well, remember, I mean, thankfully, a lot of the stalwarts that we've seen on defense here, fueled by Set 11, will phase out, at least in the same way that they are here.
Yeah. Thank God Bo's going to get a crown, so that might actually be toxic on defense. Yay.
Yeah, surely. Yeah. And Leia goes off the defense and all that. We'll see how that goes. That's fair.
Yeah, I might end up being one of those filthy save 6 GLs for offense type guys. We'll see.
Well, and we've done our fair share of grousing about how things have trended towards efficiency. I really hope it doesn't become something quite that serious where you're needing to hold.
Well, yours won't, because you're going to keep fighting 4 million players. So fuck you.
I mean, there's a decent chance of that being the case. Yeah, they've got to really get a handle on that bug because it looks like Aesop and I were laughing. Like it's no joke. There's a chance we might not even be in the top 100 next week, depending on how crazy the scores are coming out of Aurodium. It's unreal. But
yeah.
All right, Sasha, what do you got? What are you taking away from week 1? Lessons learned.
First of all, I do think it's going to be pretty funny if the next Premier Kyber Champion title that goes out is for like a 7.8 million GP account. But that will hurt. That will hurt. I guess it's kind of consistent with the theme that we've talked about. Of it's really hard to set good defenses right now. That'll be shaken up undoubtedly with the next Datacrons that are coming out. But the sort of bigger picture thought that I'd have is either, this is maybe a bit more for me personally, either embrace efficiency and really structure, like it's like I was saying, maybe you're going to hold a bunch of GLs and just like, I'm going to even go in undermanned and just maximize my banners. Either do that or try to punish people with who are coming efficiency and lean heavy the other way. It's not my personal preference generally to have to go very hard either way. I like balanced strategies. I just find I enjoy setting thoughtful defenses, and I like having to get a little bit creative on offense. And I don't tend to enjoy did they get a last minute AoE off on me, and does that ruin my match? I don't tend to enjoy that as much, but I think if that's where it's shaping out for, just the next couple weeks at least, that if you want to win, it's probably best to embrace that reality and lean either heavily into efficiency or some sort of ploy to really make an opponent pay for efficiency. Because the disadvantage I felt in my matches this week, I mean, these folks played really well, but part of it was, running into a match where the opponent was playing efficiency, and I had not committed to that approach, and you get punished for that. So anyway, that's sort of my bigger picture thought.
No. Just to expand on that a bit, if I may. I honestly, just like last time, kind of just lay a large portion of the blame on the Afrocron. Like, I don't know when CG thought it would be reasonable to make that, but it was like not reasonable the first time, and it's not reasonable this time either. And Java just there are literally like, yes, Bo exists, but it's like the Afrocron just makes it so you can't set a defense. Like, you can beat JMK with that team. Like you can beat C, you can beat the Slacker UFU team. Like, I'm not trying to blame all of it on that. It's just, we wanted a world where non-GLs could beat GLs, but we also, I think, wanted a world where they could beat specific GLs and not the world.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and I'm just kind of say that, like, well, yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's frustrating because we have such good answers with Datacron specifically that we just don't have good questions.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm saying that I think that's there's a balance that was there pre-Afrocron that I did enjoy, because I'm with Sasha. I like 3 minimum on offense, 3 minimum on defense. It gives you a nice little balance. Yeah. You can kind of move the pieces around as you will, but yeah, it's just, with Java not being able to be put on defense because Afra exists, it means when the Leia-cron goes away, she can't be on defense. Now you can't put Leia or Java on defense, right? C can't be on defense, and I digress. It's just...
Yeah. How about you, Chess?
I didn't mean that to be such a soapbox, so my apologies.
Yeah. I mean, so for my part, I'll try that armor, the OG Bo-Katan instead of armor with my BKM next week. We'll see about that. I think I have to lift Lord Vader maybe off of defense and set JMK. Something like that. Like, I think I need to do a rotation because, it's the same kind of constraint you guys are feeling. If defense planning feels pretty stale these days. So it's going to be probably not a board shape too different from what I did this week, in the sense that you'll have like a GL bottom front, maybe one up top, but like probably a couple, maybe even 3 in the back. I mean, it's about what kind of draw teams you can set up front next to maybe one anchor GL, because the details is so much about what they choose to do with the optional fights, like with your bottom front. Like, what choices are you going to offer them where they can screw themselves up? Because with as many powerful and effective offensive options that we have, there's so many things that are prescribed, like, okay, yeah, this will 65 this and this and this and this and this. So there's only a few spaces. That front wall is really the determinant to game your opponent. So if their efficiency, like Sasha's opponent was, games are about all you can really do with that. And that's gonna define, I think, a lot of us here for the last couple of weeks, because we've been in this corner before, where we've had 2 clean options on offense, making defense kind of, and then that inevitably leads us into this more efficiency style of play that all of us would rather not do. It's stale. It's basically, who can do the better recitation of the same thing, as opposed to getting to have some variety. So I take both of your points and echo that and agree. That's about it for me, though. Final thoughts, guys. It's about the end of the video. We're just closing in under an hour, so we're doing great on time. Again, folks, I'll put a timestamp here in the comments for TJ's final thoughts. He had to dip out here during the recording ahead of time, so we'll make do. It's okay, Lizzie. Sweet girl. Gosh, you look so cute in your dress. Jeez. Are you thirsty? You want some water here? I mean, you can have my water, but... Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right, well, anyway, for final thoughts, Dagger, do you have something you wanted to close out with? Something you wanted to leave with the people? to ruminate on?
Yeah, just I think next week I'm going to focus more on where my opponents assign their attacks versus where my opponents set their defenses.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to have more value going forward as we move closer to. I mean, this doesn't apply to Tass, who's going to be fighting like all these people from Bronzium. Just reading the chats here.
Oh
But
yeah.
I digress. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be about 22 people from Bronzium moving up in the top of Kyber 1.
You said Bronzium? You don't mean Aurodium?
I said what I said, bro.
Wow. Just they got to get a handle on this. What are you guys even doing? What do you people do?
Yeah, they're back in the office today. They're back. Today's their first day back in the office after their break.
Man.
So get that shit fixed.
Man, I mean, guys, come on, guys. Come on. What is this?
But yeah, I think trying to see what your opponent is using versus what is going to hold more value than actually what you're setting. So I think more than ever, it's going to be trying to, what is my opponent going to use versus X or Y? And it doesn't really matter where. Like, it's not about setting the strongest defense you can. It's about seeing what your opponent gets 63s against. Right? Like, and that's I guess what I'll leave it at. It's like maybe pay more attention to what your opponent. If you listen to this, you scout. I'm just going to assume that. So during your scout, pay more attention to what your opponents are doing on attack as opposed to what they're doing on defense. Because we have so many flexible options that if you're willing to use insight and or ask around, you'll find some answers. So just try to outwork your opponents. Check their offense as opposed to their defense.
Very good. Very good. Sasha, your final thought. Your gift to the people.
Yeah, I think that's I think actually what Dagger called out is very much what I like to do in prepping for matches. So I'd echo that. And then I guess I'll throw out one last thing. Like if folks are playing like this pretty competitively, which if they're bothering to listen to us, undoubtedly they are. And you're in efficiency matches, and I say this despite never doing it myself. I think there's a real way to impact efficiency matches with fleets. And like when it comes down to one or two banners, most people don't like to fine tune their fleets quite as much. In fact, I'm particularly bad at it. But I know I say this to my own detriment. Like if I'm in a really tight match, it's not uncommon for me to get to a spot where it's like, hey, I have this super hard earned 4 banner lead across 11 or in threes 15 different ground battles. But because I have not put a lot of thought into my fleet, if an opponent who's been really savvy about it can set comps that will just burn a few extra banners and undo all the value that I can create across like the 11 or 15 other battles. So just being more deliberate about fleet selection combined with Dagger's suggestion of see what people do, scout a little bit about how they attack depending on what they save on fleets for offense. I think you can, if it comes down to a matter of just a few banners, you can really make a difference on what's often an afterthought.
Very good. All right. For my part, yeah, it's difficult to make a lot of conclusions when there's only one real match. As always, these guys hit it. If you're any kind of fan of this show, you'll definitely be about your scouting game, and we will have the advantage of week 1 data here opening up for week 2. I very few of us have Bo-Katan out here, so I don't think there's much to add on that. I would say that it's really just about what kind of tricks you can play right now. When everything's about super efficiency, you either compete on efficiency or you compete on tricks. So look at your opponent, look at what your assets are, and decide which way is most probable for you. Like if the way that they attack and the way that they set their defense is gonna put you at a disadvantage to be squirrely, then play it straight and be efficient and be right up on top of it, because the gap is narrow. All right, thank you so much, Dagger, Sasha, Isha, TJ, who has since left us here during this recording. Appreciate you guys making time here in your busy, family and working lives to record this show immediately after the end of week 1. So appreciate it. And for all of our, Patreons here, you'll have this video tomorrow morning, if not sooner. And for all of our subscribers out here on YouTube, this video will be posted Friday morning, 8 a.m. And until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.